Hey gang, welcome to my Jeep. Today we are going to reinstall a recently rebuilt LJ front drive shaft. It had terrible angry sparrows, so I sent it over to my buddy Rock Your 4x4 to rebuild or replace the CV joint. Went ahead and put new Spicer U-joints on both ends, and the boot was missing, so we greased that up and put a new boot on it as well. I know most people say that these U-joints and the CV joints not a big deal to do, but due to time I just had somebody else do that for me, so we're just going to do the installation. Should be fairly simple. So the first thing we do is gather our supplies. Of course, we have our drive shaft, we have the original bolts and hardware that came with it. Some people will get new, but mine looked decent enough to reuse. 5/16 wrench, Loctite, and 5/16 socket on an impact, and cardboard box, because I have a transmission leak that I don't want to lay in. Other thing I've done is I've gone ahead and jacked this up just enough that I can spin the front tire. Will make this easier to line up with the yoke, which you probably can't see in the video right there. So let's crawl underneath and finish this up. First thing I like to do is slide my drive shaft up over my transfer case skid plate. I'm not worried about connecting it at the top yet. Excuse me. And then down here at the bottom, I will get my drive shaft positioned in the yoke and make sure that the U-joint caps are inside of these little tabs. You can spin your front tire to spin this around and check the other side as well. It's one of the reasons we jacked that front tire up. So once those are seated well, you can put a strap on and put some Loctite on those bolts and bolt them in. We'll go ahead and do that now. There we go. So we've got our bolts through the strap, a little bit of Loctite. Then we'll pick that up and put it on, but I'll need two hands so I cannot video it. I'm going to try to video me putting these bolts in. I don't know if this is going to be a good angle or not. But basically I'll hold the strap up, finger screw them in a little ways, and once I've got the screw started pretty well, I can use the impact to cinch them up. Try to keep even across the strap. And you'll just keep cinching it down until they're cranked up, and you'll do all four this way. Okay, for the transfer case side, there's a big oval in the bottom of the stock skid plate. And if you look up here, you will see where the drive shaft connects with the transfer case yoke right here. See if I can get that zoomed a little better. That's as good as I'm getting. And so you'll want to jiggle and wiggle around until you get that lined up properly. Sorry the lighting's so terrible. But there is a tab there, just like on the front yoke, that you'll want your U-joint to sit inside. Once you get that in there, I wish I could get a better angle. You will see where the bolts come in from the back side, so through the transfer case yoke into the drive shaft. And so I'll put one bolt up here, I'll put a little Loctite on it and bolt it in. We'll do it one at a time. On mine, I was unable to get a socket on it, so I'm actually going to use a wrench through this little oval hole. And it really sucks because you can only move a little bit at a time. If you have ratcheting wrenches, you will be a happier camper. On my TJ, I was able to run 6 or 7 extensions through the back and hit it, but for some reason I was unable to do that on this Jeep. So sorry the angle's bad. I just cannot get a good angle with decent light up there. So let me go ahead and do that. Okay, so I'm doing the last 2 bolts. So box end wrench coming from the front of the vehicle. Put the wrench on, there we go, wrench on the bolt and twist through this little oval. And like I said, no fun because you can only move a little bit at a time. So what I've jacked the tire up for is when you need to get to a different bolt. See if I can get that zoomed in. Yeah, not so much. You can kind of see it moving. I can spin the tire, and that lets me adjust if I'm getting to a different bolt or not. So let me finish cranking these down, and then we'll be finished. Okay, thanks for watching my Jeep. That was a quick install of a front drive shaft on a 2004 LJ. Give you the quick recap. Bolt up the 4 bolts on the front yoke. Bolt up the 4 bolts on the rear yoke. Make sure you use Loctite and crank it all down. So be sure to check out the other videos. Put comments of any videos you need. Future videos will be front ball joints and body lift, and doing something about this transmission leak. Probably just a gasket, I hope. And also doing something about this cranked up oil pan. Have a great time.